I was invited by Ingrid from Mommy and Mia's Homeschool Chronicles to join in this collaboration called All Things Apple. I love apples, and I think of apples in the fall of the year. Apples in the fall just go together hand in hand. So I decided I was going to bake a cake for you for this video, and of course the star of the show are apples. I have two recipe books that are specifically for apples. Every recipe in these two books are apple related. So I went through these books, and of course I saw lots of recipes that caught my eye, but the one that I'm going to do for you today is called Olivia's Applesauce Cake. And this definitely caught my eye because my daughter's name, as you know, is Olivia. But this recipe actually is based off of one of my favorite TV shows. I loved it as a kid, and I love watching the reruns on Amazon Prime, and that is The Waltons. This cake is the one Olivia Walton made in the movie The Homecoming, which was the basis for the TV series The Waltons. She made the cake for Christmas, but apples are plentiful here, so we enjoy it anytime. And this is who submitted the recipe for this book. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make Olivia's applesauce cake. Here is a screenshot of the recipe. So if you want to make this, you can pause the video and copy this down. So you're going to need 1 cup of butter softened. I will probably reduce that because I try to reduce fat whenever I can. 1 cup of sugar. I'm sure I will use my stevia blend for that. 2 eggs, 3½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons ground cloves. I'll probably swap that because I like cinnamon more than cloves. 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. I probably won't put quite so much nutmeg in. I'll probably do 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of allspice, and then 1 cup of chopped walnuts. I'm going to omit the raisins. I might put a different kind of dried fruit in there. I'm not a fan of raisins, and I don't have any, but I may have some dried cranberries in the cupboard. If I do, I will use that. I know I have dried blueberries, but I don't think that would go well with apples. And then it has 2 cups of unsweetened applesauce. I'm also probably going to peel and dice up a couple of apples and just add that to this recipe as well. I like to take the basic recipe and change it up to suit my dietary needs and to suit my taste. So let's go ahead and get started making Olivia's applesauce cake. So like I said, the recipe calls for 1 cup of butter, and I'm just going to put 3/4 of a cup of butter in. But you take the butter and the sugar and you cream them together. And the sweetener I'm going to use is this Whole Earth sweetener. It's a baking blend that has cane sugar and stevia. It is twice the sweetness of regular sugar. So it calls for 1 cup, so I'm only going to use ½ a cup of this. And then you add the 2 eggs and beat it well. recipe says to sift the dried ingredients together in a separate bowl, but I never do that. I'm a lazy cook. I don't want to dirty up another dish. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the dry ingredients to this egg, butter, and sugar, stevia mixture. And so you're supposed to add the flour, baking soda, salt, and spices. So I'm going to put all the spices and things in first and kind of whip them up a little bit, and then I will start adding the flour. Now I'm going to add, oh, this is heavy. I'm going to add the applesauce, and that will definitely loosen this up. This is quite the Play-Doh texture right now. And it calls for 2 cups of unsweetened applesauce. And I have these that I get from Walmart. I'm not sure how much is in this, so I'm going to just start opening up little packages till I get 2 cups. But this is organic, unsweetened applesauce. So then I'm going to go ahead and just take my spatula and run it around the bowl, because sometimes with the KitchenAid mixer it doesn't always get all of the stuff that's down in the bottom mixed in well. So you want to make sure and mix it well. Then you're just going to fold in the nuts and the raisins. And like I said, you saw me chop the apples. I'm going to add my 2 apples that I chopped. Fold that in. And it calls for 1 cup of chopped walnuts. And I just get my walnuts already chopped at Aldi. And they're really pretty economical. I already had 1 bag that was almost gone. So this is my 1/2 cup measure. So there's 1/2 cup, and then another 1/2 cup. And then it calls for 2 cups of raisins. And like I said, I'm not a huge raisin fan, so I have these dried cranberries, and I'm just going to go ahead and just put this whole package in, because if it's not 2 cups, it's pretty close to 2 cups. And you just fold those in as well. So I have my bundt pan here. I'm going to spray it with cooking spray and then pour the batter in. Did you guys see that? I dropped a clump of this dough right through the hole of this bundt pan. No, that's not what the hole's there for. No, I'm not supposed to drop dough through it. I am a messy cook sometimes. Alright, so my oven has been preheating at 350 degrees, and you bake this for 65 to 75 minutes or until it tests done with a toothpick. And then you let it cool completely, and you can glaze it if you want to or just eat it as is. And of course, when it's all done and cooled, I'll bring you back and I'll do a taste test for you. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It's still really warm, so I'm going to go ahead and let it cool completely, and then I think I am going to either sprinkle powdered sugar on or I'm going to make a glaze to drizzle over the top. Probably a glaze. To go along with our apple cake, Olivia is going to make some mulled cider. I think it's what it's called. She'll have to get me the title of the recipe, but it's basically warmed apple juice with spices in it. And so she's going to do that part of the video. She said as long as she doesn't have to talk. So she's going to go ahead and do that, and that way we can have a nice warm cup of apple juice, spiced apple juice with our apple cake. Okay, so this is the name of the recipe that she's going to make. Spiced apple cider made from apple juice. So you're going to need 4 cups of apple juice, and I would recommend that you get organic if you can. You're going to need 2 cinnamon sticks, 8 whole cloves, and then it says 8 whole allspice berries, but all we have is ground allspice, so we'll probably put, I don't know, half a teaspoon or something of this in. We'll let Olivia decide. And then 1 to 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So before you put this on the heat to simmer, you are supposed to stir it until the sugar dissolves. So then you put it on the stove on a medium heat until it comes to a simmer. And then you reduce the heat to low and you let it simmer for a half an hour or until it becomes the taste that you like. The longer that you let it simmer, the stronger the spicy taste will be. It looks like it's starting to steam a little bit, so it'll be simmering before long. I'll bring you back when this is all ready and the cake's all ready and we're ready to enjoy this. So this is what it looks like when it's all ready to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece and show you what it looks like on the inside. It's quite dense. Doesn't that look yummy? So Olivia's getting the mulled cider done, because after it's done mulling, you have to scoop all the solid things out, the cloves and the nutmeg and the, not nutmeg, cloves and the cinnamon. Okay, I'm going to give this cake a try. It's kind of dense like a fruit cake would be, or a pound cake or something. It's not like light at all. Like, that is really good. Here's the mulled cider. Ooh, it smells good. Mmm. Sounds like a cow.
Sorry. like a cow drinking cider.
Oh, it's really good. I'll probably leave that in. There you have it, friends. There are my all things apple recipes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give these recipes a try. As always, I will have them written out in the description box below. I want to thank Ingrid for organizing this collaboration and inviting me to join. We'll talk to you later, friends. Bye-bye.